This is my 2017 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-road. I primarily use it as a daily driver as well as my overlanding vehicle. And I traded it in for this. This is the 2019 Toyota Tundra Limited Edition in the TRD Off-road package. And I'm going to tell you why I traded it and what plans I have for this as my daily driver and overlanding rig. Now, if you ever watched any of my overlanding videos, you'll know that I've taken this to the snow, to the desert, to the beaches, and to the mountains. And don't get me wrong, this is a perfectly capable rig, and there have been no issues with this rig so far. Aside from the known issue of feeling underpowered due to the laggy transmission, everything else has been fairly really good on this truck. So now there are two main reasons why we wanted to get this truck, and one of them is compared to the Tacoma, the cabin size is huge. There'll be some times where I hit my head on the top of this cabin. In the Tundra, not so much. That is impossible because the cabin is so much more higher. Now, aside from the space inside, there's also the power. There were a few times where I noticed when I was gassing and trying to accelerate in the Tacoma that there was a feeling of lag. The Load E tires definitely has something to do with it, but as well as the transmission that the Tacomas are notoriously known for. On the Tundra, we have the 5.7 liter V8 engine, which driving around town from the dealership back to our place, it was fantastic. Now here's what I'm gonna miss about the Tacoma that the Tacoma has that the Tundra does not. It has the key wireless charging on the Tacoma that the Tundra does not have. So if I want to charge my phone, I would need to hook it up to the USB and hook it up to my phone. Also, the Tacoma has a push button start that the Tundra does not have. So for the Tundra, I would need to use the keys to put into the ignition to turn on and turn off. Now that makes it a little inconvenient because sometimes I like to get into the car, not take my keys out of my pocket and just do the push button ignition. Now with that said, the Tacoma has doors that would automatically unlock and open as long as you just touch the handle with the keys in your pocket. So for the Tundra, you will need to press the unlock button on the remote in order for it to open with the door handle. The Tacoma has a 6-foot bed, which means this Mount Rainier 3-person rooftop tent is able to be fitted on top of the bed and be flush with the tailgate. On the Tundra, this is a 5.5-foot bed, which is the only option that we're able to get with the CrewMax 4-door cab configuration. So I am planning to mount the rooftop tent onto this truck bed in the same kind of configuration with the racks that we can put on top of the tonneau covers. Now if we do that, that means there's a chance that the rooftop tent is going to stick out by about 6 inches because this is a 5.5-foot bed. So with that said, once we do transfer it over, I'm going to see how that looks like, see if it is worth just leaving on there, or if we're going to have to change rooftop tents. Another thing I'm going to miss is some of the 4-wheel drive off-roading features on this truck. So on top of this cabin, we have options for off-roading such as the crowd control and the locking rear differentials. Now in the Toyota Tundra, we do not get those features. The weird thing about that is that on any of the trim levels, including the TRD Pro, it does not come with crowd control or locking rears. Also, from all the times that I have gone overlanding to all the various types of terrain, the only time I really used crowd control was like once just to try out the feature. Also, as far as the rear lockers, the places that I go, I've never engaged the rear lockers because I never was in a position where I needed them. And I was still able to get to places where I can enjoy the outdoors. So that's just So that's just something to note. Obviously, another thing I'm going to miss is all of the upgrades and modifications that I've done onto the truck, which over time I will do onto the Tundra. So those are a few things that I'm going to miss in the Tacoma that the Tundra does not have, but it is something that I can still accept because it is just one of those luxuries that are necessities. but I've invested so much of my time and energy into modding this truck. It almost feels like saying goodbye to like an old friend, which it actually is. So let me give you a tour of this truck. So the Toyota Tundra in the limited configuration in the TRD Off-road package comes with the 275, 65, 18-inch wheels and tires. This is the TRD off-road rims that comes with this truck. As for the lighting, it does come with all LED fogs and LED headlamps and LED daytime running lights. Now because this is the Crew Max configuration, we have two full-size front and back doors with the cabins. Now this is going to be kind of crazy because it blew my mind when we first saw this truck, but the back seat, the back cabin area is huge. So I'm 5'11", and this is how it looks when I sit in the truck. Now the seat over here in front of me, I like to sit when I drive with my seat back a little bit with my legs extended out onto the gas pedal. Now with that already done, there's this much room. And as you can see, there's still headroom in the back as well. In the front cabin, as you can see, this is all pointed leather in the limited package with the nice stitching. And this is one of Katie and I's favorite features on this trim is this wood trim over here. Now another reason why we like this is, like I mentioned before, the cabin size is huge and enormous. And as you can see, we don't have any of the off-roading features anymore on the top of the overhead. But we do have sunglass holder. We do have a huge center console storage area, and it is huge, as you can see. So what I am planning to do is I am gonna get a organizer tray to set on top. Now as for the glove compartment, as you can tell, there's good amount of space, but I feel like for a truck this size, I feel like there could be a little bit more space. Now if you look at the speakers, it comes with a JBL stereo system, and you know, listening to it on the drive home, it was fantastic. On my Toyota Tacoma, I did update it with the kickers, the stereos for the front, back, and the tweeters, and this sound system honestly sounds better. There is a rear backup camera, and it is a soft open. Now right now, all the trucks that we saw did not have a composite bed liner or a spray bed liner. It was pretty much this bare metal. I am down the line planning to do some bed liner spraying. So let's go over my overlanding rig build-up plans for the Tundra, and keep in mind it is also going to be my daily driver. So immediately off the bat, when we drove this out of the dealer, there were two things that I want to do right away and immediately. One was I'm going to change these tires, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off these tires and sell them via Craigslist or wherever. So anytime you get an off-road vehicle or a vehicle you want to overland with straight out of a lot or from a third party or wherever, you want to make sure the first thing that is capable on the truck or on your rig are the tires, because those are the things that are gonna make contact with the ground and get you around. You don't want that to be incapable or shoddy so that they get you stranded. So that is one of the first things we're gonna do. And the second thing we're gonna do, see this chrome? Oh, this chrome. I don't like chrome on my truck. Now, if you notice on the Tacoma, I try to remove as much of the chrome as possible on that vehicle. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna apply the method that I've used on the Toyota Tacoma that has proven pretty reliable and capable, which is plasti dipping. So I know there's different people that have different views on plasti dip, but for me, it has worked out fantastic. There are other things I can do as far as blacking some of these out and deleting the chrome, which is finding the replacement caps for this or switching out the grille. But at this point in time, that is a very expensive option. And when I do a plasti dip, it is saving me a ton of money. A can of plasti dip can be anywhere between $6 to $8. Now, if I were to change the grille out, it's a few $100s. Same thing with this. If I were to switch this out, it's almost $100. The handles, the thing is, the only thing that I'm going to not plasti dip and I'm going to actually change out to either a body color or black are the door handles, because as you know, with plasti dip, they do create some friction, and I don't want to rub against them while opening and closing the door all the time, which is going to peel off the dip or peel off the layer of plasti dip. Now that is just basically the aesthetics. So now what I'm going to do in terms of overlanding is I am going to transfer the rooftop tent, but the racks that were on the Tacoma did not fit on the Toyota Tundra because this is a wider truck bed. So what I'm going to get is I'm also going to get the same kind of racks that I had on my Toyota Tacoma, but the ones that are made for the Tundra, which is by KB Voodoo high-rise racks. And the racks that I'm getting are the high-rise racks because they are tonneau cover compatible, and I am going to get the same brand of tonneau cover that was on my Tacoma for my Tundra, which is the Tiger brand. The reason why I want to keep it low rather than having it high elevated above the cab rack is, one, for aerodynamics, and two, for the clearance, because there are certain because this is my daily driver, I do have to get into certain garages that have low clearance or lower clearance that might not clear anything over maybe 6.5 to 7 feet. So as you know, my channel is a backpacking, hiking, overlanding, and gear review channel. So what you're probably going to see is a little bit more of the build out of this Tundra being incorporated into my channel. So if you're here for the backpacking, I hope you'll stick around for the Overland build because it is still the outdoors that we love doing. And if you are here for the Tacoma, we hope you stick around to see the Tundra build because it may either do one of two things. It may make you not want the Tundra even more and stick with your Tacoma, or it may want to make you trade it up to the Tundra as well. We're really happy with this vehicle. We're excited. We're excited to have you guys join us in this adventure and this journey. But with that said, I am going to say that the Toyota Tacoma is a very awesome vehicle, especially for overlanding and daily driving. I'm going to miss this truck. We hope you guys will join us for the build and the adventure videos to come. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave it in the box below. We love hearing from you guys, as always. Thank you guys for joining us. Be safe, take care, and I'll see you guys next time. This is my 2017. This is the Toyota.